Was insurance coming out for the fire department out of fire territory funds. Is there anything else that stuck out to you, Lori?
I don't think so.
Okay. Was there any questions from the board about any of the APVs?
Nope.
Any questions from the public? It's kind of a light 2 weeks. All right. Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the payment of the claims? So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't believe we have any blight claims this week. No. City attorney report. Is there anything to report, Dustin?
Not at this time. Just
Gotcha.
a little bit.
Gotcha. All right, moving on into unfinished business. If you folks were here last time, we had Chris Marks from the EMA come and present the countywide hazard mitigation plan. We just needed a resolution number to put with that, so we tabled it until we had a resolution number, just Resolution 6, 2018. I know Chris went over everything pretty well last time and got me the whole plan. We presented it to the department heads so that they knew that it was available. Is there any questions from the board about the hazard mitigation plan? No. Is there any questions from the public about the countywide hazard mitigation plan? Other than what is it? Any comment from our chief? Nope. All right. Well, seeing no comments, do I have a motion to accept Resolution 6, 2018?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. Next, moving on to new business, we have our deputy clerk, Lori Hawk, open the blight asbestos bid inspections and blight demolition bids.
Okay, we'll start with the inspection bids.
Okay. Brenda, do you have the sheets for the bids for us to keep track?
Oh, I have some.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, I just designed such a nice.
You're so handy and so quick at that. I'm sorry.
Thank you kindly.
Yes. Okay, so we have 306 West Canal, 117 South Fremont, 186 West 7th, 378 East Main, 113 West 8th, 68 South Clay, 118 East 9th, 36 West 3rd, and 456 Monroe. And this is for the asbestos inspections, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is from ATC. Okay, they did theirs as one lump sum,
Okay.
not to exceed the cost of $585 per building, for a total cost of $5,265. Could you read that one more time?
5,200 and what?
$5,265. Thank you.
Not to exceed 850.
$585.
Okay.
Okay. This is from Truth Consulting.
What was the name of it again?
Can you spell that,
Truth?
please?
Truth Consulting.
Oh, Truth. Okay.
The total price, are there 9 total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, total price for 9 single-family homes, $7,790. $7,790.
Okay.
Okay, the third one is from Protex Inc.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I believe
there's this a little different, yes. This is going to be individually. They didn't bid on all of them.
Okay.
306 West Canal, $265.
Okay.
117 South Fremont, $265. 186 West 7th, $265. 113 West 8th, $265. 118 East 9th, $265. 63 West 3rd,
You said 118 East 9th,
yes,
265 as well?
yes. And 63 West 3rd, $265, for a total of $1,590.
There's a slight difference in the way that they bid as all the companies received the same BLN inspection report, which was a pre-survey done at the house. The houses, there were several houses that BLN didn't see any indicators of asbestos, so Protec only bid on the houses that showed signs of asbestos.
So do you know, for these other companies that are given a flat rate across all 9 properties, is that because some of the properties have more remediation, some have less, and so they evened it out?
I think we've got, could you speak on that, on how you guys normally bid on these?
Yeah, typically they require a clearance on each one before the demo occurs. So even the ones where they may not have necessarily found some, typically there would still be testing required for those properties. And you know, the proper paperwork done to clear them to be able to be demoed. Without having access to the properties, it's very hard to say that there's going to be no testing required in those properties per se. So, you know, like in our case, we just went off of a per property basis and then gave a lump sum as was requested in the invitation to bid.
You're
Gotcha.
looking at the same services, the sampling process, the testing process, and then the reporting process.
Okay.
So,
How many more bid packets did we get? One more? Okay. I'll go ahead and get that.
This is from PSI.
PSI.
Okay, I believe they're building on all 9 properties
Okay.
at $375 each for $3,375.
3,700 and...
$3,375.
And what was it?
Was that per?
375
375 per.
times 9
Okay.
properties. And that's all I have.
Okay. Now, so I guess I didn't want to get too much into the weeds before we got all the bids read, but I guess my question for our other bidders that bid on every one of the properties is the overall bid, I guess, still valid, or is it what you want to do if if basically, as Brenda described it, the lowest hanging fruit ones are kind of because obviously those were the cheapest ones. If we were to take those aside and say that they have all of those, is that, I guess for the other people here that have bid on the whole package, is that, kind of mess with your bid to say, well, it's just the most, or the ones that were at least flagged as having remediation issues?
I mean, from our standpoint, it was a per property basis, so, I mean, if you came to us and said, we want to exclude these properties, our per property base, our per property price would still hold, and we would reduce that total amount
Gotcha.
accordingly.
Okay.
Is how we would
Gotcha.
handle it.
And who are you with?
PSI.
PSI?
Yeah.
Okay,
So they'd be at the 375.
right. So, just looking at the cost submitted, ProTech Inc. Was the low bid for 6 of the 9, and PSI would be the lowest bid for the remaining 3. Is that what you have, is it?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. And so, what would make sense is for ProTech to award the 6 that ProTech put a bid on, and PSI would be the ones that getting the other 3. Is that what the board is thinking?
Well, I think we need to review what the request for proposals was, because this says
Gotcha.
that we're supposed to award one contractor for the entire package.
Gotcha. Brenda, as far as, do you want to explain to us a little bit about how it was put out and what your kind of expectations are?
They were all given the same sample. I don't have the bid pack here in front of me, but they were all given the same sample set. Typically, in the past, the asbestos inspections came in with a per house price, and then all of them were tested. And while I realize that BLN may have indicated that it didn't appear that there was any asbestos, I would probably still feel better testing it.
Mhm. And when you say BLN, that's what?
BLN is an inspection group hired by the Indiana Housing and Community
Okay.
Development.
So they're a private company, but they're hired by the state to do the
So they
assessment?
did the pre-surveys, yeah.
Okay.
They did the pre-surveys, and while their reports came back that there was no visible sign of asbestos, I'd probably feel better having them tested anyway before we tear them down.
Unless you have to have paperwork clearing.
Yes. So, ProTech gave the bid of $265 each. I'm sure they left the other 3 out because BLN indicated that there was no asbestos there possible, so we could hold this and check with or with ProTech to see if they meet that $265 per house on those, or
So you're saying that ProTech left the ones off that had no indication of asbestos?
they
But
left
I
those
don't-
out specifically
Okay.
for that.
I don't think we can do that because the bids were open at a public meeting. I mean,
There you
if
go.
they should have bidded that at that point.
Okay.
I think we go to the next most reasonable, responsible bidder at the next lowest price for those ones. And normally, it's a house-by-house basis, right? In the past, you've never winner-take-all type thing.
On the demolitions, we do,
Individual.
in the bid package, it said that all of these for the inspections goes to one bidder.
Okay,
It does. For the abatement that we're gonna do down the road in May, it'll go to individual houses, because we'll take the cheapest on the abatement on each house. Demo also goes all to one contractor, so we're just dealing with one. Inspection goes to one contractor, abatement goes to the individual.
When does this take place?
Which part?
As far as when you're going to switch over to where it's one bidder for all of this?
The one bidder is going to be next for demo, and then these reports, whoever we select tonight for the inspections, whoever we hire tonight for the inspections, they'll have to have their report back to us by May 21st. May 21st, abatement companies can come and pick those packet up so they can put their bids together for the abatement on those, on the asbestos. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so this one does have to be one contractor
Does.
for the whole thing.
And so, like Dustin said, the counselor said that if Protect doesn't have those three and part of their bid package, I don't know that we can, since we've opened all the bids tonight. At 265, at 9 properties, the total would have been $2,385, which is a difference of $990 from PSI. That's with, if they were to do all 9. Which I would assume that they would do the other 3, but like you said, they didn't really actually submit it correctly.
Right, I
So,
mean, it almost should disqualify the bid, almost.
no.
But I didn't realize that it was a winner-take-all in this situation.
Gotcha. So, I'm comfortable with the $990 difference for the 9 properties myself. Do we have anybody here from Protect?
No, just PSI.
Okay. PSI submitted correctly, they're here. I feel comfortable personally with a $990 difference because of that. How does the board feel?
Yeah, and council said take the next lowest.
I feel the same way.
So,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. Is there any questions or comments from the public? Any concerns? Is there anything else from the board? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept PSI's bid for the inspections?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So we'll
Congratulations.
award it to PSI. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so, is there anything else we need to talk about that, Brenda? Anything
No,
else?
I'm
Okay. All right, so we will move on to harvesting capabilities, a request to...
We got
I have
the,
the,
Blight.
One other bid.
sorry,
Something else.
we have one demo bid.
Okay,
Do we
gotcha.
have another one of these?
Yes, we passed.
there's only one bid.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
But these are my favorite part of these meetings.
Well, look, there you go.
Thanks.
You get right what number in there.
All right.
I'll work on that more often. I'll get you some more.
You really only had one bid?
Yeah.
Merritt's?
Okay. All right, we have one bid to open.
Maybe.
Let's go to the other side.
Is Merritt the only one that submitted a bid?
They were the only ones that came to the mandatory pre-bid meeting.
Oh,
Okay, they have bid a different amount for each property.
okay.
All right, 306 West Canal, $9,000. 117 South Fremont, $12,500. 186 West 7th Street, $8,000. 378 East Main, $9,000. 113 West 8th Street, $11,500. 68 South Clay, $10,000. 118 East 9th, $15,500. 63 West 3rd, $12,000. 456 Monroe, $8,000. Total amount, $95,500.
95.
$95,500.
Yeah. I know, considering how much extra work they have to do with the blight elimination program, that those are actually pretty good numbers, I would say.
117 South Fremont, I'm not sure if the board's been by there, but it's a 3-story house in the middle of a side block. It's going to be a tough tear down, and I'm sure Merritt's will do a good job. 113 West 8th is it's a bear of a house as well, and that one is full of so many different kinds of molds. It could be a test subject for a science lab. And 118 East 9th is the large, almost commercial structure that sits to the west of the Schneider Electric parking lot. They're just monster homes, so these are pretty good bids.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they, from what I know of the properties and of the steps that they mandate that they take, the extra steps above and beyond, those, I think those sound like pretty fair numbers.
Brenda, and there's enough money in the blight account to cover all of these?
Yes, actually, we are doing amazingly well. This last go-around, the board will be happy to know that most of these houses we acquired for nothing. So we saved our acquisition dollars to go towards the demo on some of these. I think the most we paid was $2,700, so.
Nice job, Brenda.
Oh,
It was
done.
really round.
Yeah.
It was not just me. Jerry Stanton worked wonders on this one.
Yeah.
So,
And this is all grant money too, so it's not taxpayer
it's all through the
dollars.
state, so we don't have any tax dollars.
Except for your overtime.
Yeah.
I get to count that?
No, I'm sorry. That's,
No.
Oh, so close.
all right. Is there any questions from the board on the bids? Yes, the bids. Is there any questions or comments from the public? All right. Do I have a motion to accept Merit Trucking's bids for the demolitions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. And so we have both the blight asbestos and demolition bids are done. Is there anything else at all with the blight stuff before we move on?
Say it one more time, I'm sorry. Don't have my expression.
Yeah. Is there anything else at all with the blight bids or anything you'd like to talk to us about at all with the blight?
We saved some money. We just did our closeouts from round one, which was done forever and a day ago, and we found $15,783 that we're able to apply towards more demolitions. And then we closed out round two and found $78,000 that we hadn't used. So we're able to do that.
78,000?
1,000. So it's enough to fund another almost 4 houses. And then we'll see where we're at with this.
And if there's any funds remaining that aren't enough to do a house, but there's still money left over, what do they want you to do with that?
They capture it.
They take it back? Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board for
No,
Brenda?
keep up the good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions from the public on that? All right, so we will move on to harvesting capabilities request. Danielle Miller, is she here? Okay. Just have a request for a waiver of the shelter fee. Lori, do you know which shelter that was that indicated, which shelter they were
Says
talking about?
Shelter 10.
It's on this.
Here.
Oh, well, I don't have that. Okay, gotcha. Shelter 10. I would assume that we would do the same, well, we figured this out for the amphitheater, but this is just a regular park shelter, and those rent for, is it 20?
$20.
$20? Do you know, Brenda, I think in the past, the Parks Board would just waive fees for nonprofits when it came to the park shelters?
You would,
Yeah.
if they ask.
Right. So, it's not nearly as big of a fee as the amphitheater stuff was. I don't know if we just, and I know that Harvesting Capabilities is a 501c3 and they're established that way. I just haven't dealt with them in the past, so, you guys just want to waive the fee, it's what's been done in the past with the park shelters. And we did a like a massive percentage for the,
I think if we did a massive percentage on $20, then we're asking for like
yeah.
$1.
Right.
So
All right, so just waive the fee then? That's what I do.
do we need them to submit any documentation of
I-
nonprofit status?
I think for consistency, they should they should show us that they're a nonprofit because we just want to stay consistent. But we know that they are, so, yeah.
We'll set precedent.
Yeah,
Okay, so as long as they provide documentation, is that okay?
tax exempt status, just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from the board? Anything from the public?
Shouldn't this go through the Parks Board?
Easy.
Wow, really?
You know what? I will be happy to announce that I actually have a meeting with, I would say the disgruntled citizen, but a disgruntled citizen. And I think we've got it worked out, and we're working on that, so.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Don't need help. I try to help where I can.
Yeah. Well, Tish isn't here, so you gotta like step up your game. Yeah. All right. Anything else from the public? Yep.
My name is Gary Workin, the pastor Chris Reed, Bill King, and we represent the Apostolic Center off of Wampler Street in South Peru. And we're putting in a petition to have a safety stripe or children's protective cones. There's a children's church across the street from our church where there's actually quite a lot of traffic when the children cross from the church to the children's parsonage, which is right across the street for the protection of the children. We're looking to have a couple white stripes painted for protection for children crossing signs possibly on both sides.
Okay.
Wampler Street, like a lot of other streets in South Peru, is a very, very busy street for traffic. And children's church, like our church, is a very, very big thing. Quite a lot of people, quite a lot of children. So we're putting forth a petition to have protection stripes for a crossing path put down between the streets.
Have you contacted the clerk's office?
I spoke with this.
It's the last thing on the agenda.
It is the last thing?
I
Okay.
think if you guys have the updated second page of the agenda, it should be, I think, the last.
Gabe does.
I don't have it, but, yeah, okay. All right, well, we will come to that last on the agenda, so we'll come back for your request. Is there any other comment on the request to waive the fee for harvesting capabilities? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion to waive the fee for harvesting capabilities shelter? So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have Christina Guarnto. Is she here? Christina Guarnto with harvesting capabilities. Change to the original request for the annual chili cook-off on October 6, 2018. Once again, I'm working off of an old agenda, so I'll have to take a look at you guys.
They've secured Smitty's to bring the beer wagon with a tent, sit under at the beer wagon. They'll have the right permits, but now they don't know. They don't need it to start at the Lion Heads. They need it, they're not sure how far it's going to go.
They're not starting where?
At the Lion's Heads like they usually do.
Oh, the statues of the lion statue.
I was lost too.
Yeah, I was like, the lion's heads, what's the lion's heads? They do not need the pavilion and will not be starting the event at the lion's heads.
Start at the west end of the walkway, but they're not sure how far east it'll go.
If they're starting at the west end of the walkway, isn't that down by Parkview? Or by,
Skateboard?
yeah, the skate park and the Riverview, is that for parking purposes? I wonder if that's why they're doing that?
I'm not real sure. Well, they just asked for Pavilion 10. That's right down in that area. Wasn't that who this was just for? Harvesting capabilities?
Mm-hmm.
Start at the far west end of the Riverwalk.
Well, that's May 19th is the Shelter 10. So it must be a different event if they're doing it on May
This is for
19th.
the- Yeah, this one is for the chili cook-off.
October.
That's October.
Right.
Getting ahead of the game.
Yeah.
I appreciate people having their ducks in a row.
It looks like all they're doing is just adjusting where they normally are at down further.
Right, because I know we gave them permission earlier to have it on there.
I don't think we specified how long of a walkway we would let them use, just whatever they typically take up.
And I want wonder, as far as like their tents and stuff for the individual booths for the chili cook-off, is that'll be in the same area again, or if they're gonna do it down, near the skate park this time?
To me, it looks like that's where they're starting it instead of where they normally do right there by the main entry in the middle there. That's usually where it starts and heads west. Looks like they're gonna start west and head back east. Maybe they're using the Riverview's parking lot.
Right, because obviously before they could use the Parks parking lot.
Then they
and I
parked in
don't-
the grass.
Right. I don't know if that's if they plan on using, that parking lot to private, then I don't know if they realize that,
I think we probably need to ask them a question on this.
yeah.
Yeah, can we have them come in, or,
I think that would make more sense.
Yeah. And then we have time before October where we could get some clarification.
okay,
Um,
because, yeah, they want to know if we'll allow the beer wagon started at the far west end, but they didn't specify. And
I mean, if they can't make it here, maybe they can draw a map of what it is so we can actually see what they're asking
Right,
for.
yeah, and we can just ask them some basic questions, like, if they've talked to, Riverview, funeral home, and if, that's where they're planning on parking or whatnot. All right. Lori, you wanna, make sure, let, Ashley, or, I don't know if they contacted the clerk's office or the mayor's office for those, but, probably get Ashley to, or yourself, get a hold of them and ask them to come and clarify or send a letter of clarification. So do I have a motion to table harvesting capabilities request for change on the chili cook-off event?
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we will come back to that next time. Next, we have Sarah Welke, St. Vincent de Paul. Sarah here? No? Request to collect money on the corner of Main and Miami Streets, May 26th, 2018. Do you know, Chief, does St. Vincent de Paul do these collections? I don't remember if we've done this before or not.
I think they have. There's been, different requests for that, so.
Is there specifics in there as far as if they plan on being in the street or?
You know, they said they want to be like the fire department.
Yeah, type of collection like the fire department always does.
Take their shoes off.
I don't know, I don't know if we've dealt with, I know the fire department obviously does, thank you. That will help, thank you, Lori. Have we had, because I mean, with the firefighters, they're public safety officers, so I feel a bit more comfortable with them being out in the street. I don't,
Salvation Army does it quite often,
Salvation Army does too?
but there is guidelines set up for it.
Okay,
City ordinances, I believe.
I believe they have to go through the police department and they have to have vests on. There is a specific, very specific
I think I went down
guideline.
there and combed it off too last year.
you coned it off last year for them?
So we made them a little lane in there, they could walk back and forth then, on both ends, I think.
I don't remember that.
Very
I just say, I don't remember doing
I
this
don't
before.
remember.
Salvation Army does it twice a year,
Oh,
but there is specifics per city for that.
yeah. So, safety officers are comfortable with this?
If they follow the guidelines, yes.
Okay. Traffic, you said you set up, it's kind of like a lane almost for them
Yeah,
before?
Richard even gave them a vehicle to park, straddle the double yellow down there, and they were on, and they had a truck sitting there on each end, so that if anybody did get into them, they'd hit the truck first, so kind of straddled across the double yellows on each end, so, and then they just stayed in between those two pickup trucks.
I do not recall this.
They must have went around somebody.
Yeah, I don't know, like, a vehicle, straddling the yellow lines, that makes me almost more nervous
Either
about.
that, or I had them put it in that, eliminated that drive-through lane headed east on Main in the same, and I had them eliminate that drive-through lane headed west, so they were kind of like this. So if you wanted to, you had to go around it, going east or west. That might be in Miami.
Is that for the left turn lane or
Yeah,
the straight?
there's a left turn there to go, you know, if you want to turn on, they sat in that. Well, they sat in both of them, that's right. They sat in both left turn lanes, now I remember. That was Salvation Army. I remember.
I'm gonna take a look at this on the map on my phone real quick so I can get an idea of what the lanes look like there. Apologize to you guys.
You know, it makes me nervous. 'Cause like you said, public safety officers doing it is one thing.
Just gotta be quick and alert. Cars come, get out of the way.
It's common sense.
Yeah. Miami in Maine.
So if there's guidelines that are set up through the police department, can we advise them to make sure that they have those guidelines established with the police department before they go out into our streets?
Salvation Army sets up, they do it in the winter too.
It's just cold. The last one they done was in the fall.
Yeah. What was cold? I know
It was cold
that
that
day, yeah.
It was a, matter of fact, that they made for the kettle. Last one they done.
What was that?
The kettle in the
The
street?
kettle drive, that was in November, end of November. They-
Gotcha.
They done one right there for
I
that.
think that's one where Paul Richard gave him the truck, set him in that left turn lane. On Main, on east and west, they used their van, they had a van that said Salvation Army or something. Yeah. Was that
Would,
like Red Cross? Might have been Red Cross, yeah.
Would one of the road closed type of barriers kind of straddling
Yeah,
the,
we-
would that, because in my mind, I think if a truck or a car sitting there, someone
Yeah,
might
right,
think that
there's a pilot behind it.
that they're waiting and pull up behind it.
Yeah, we could put those left lane closed heads out.
Okay,
And, yeah.
yeah. And I don't know if the police or fire, if that makes sense, that if a vehicle's there, then somebody from afar might misinterpret that as somebody waiting in a lane and pull up behind it. That's,
With the number of cones they had out, it was evident.
what's that?
With the number of cones they had out, it was evident.
Okay, gotcha.
So everyone remembers this but the three of us.
Yeah, I think so.
Get drugged downtown that day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, sit there behind that parked car for a half hour, I didn't get it.
Yeah, that's, we didn't realize anything was going on, we were just sitting behind a parked car.
Traffic was bad.
I guess, however you guys feel, and Dave, with, you're with EMA, and you guys deal with this quite a bit, however you guys feel the most comfortable with protecting them. Obviously, it's happened before.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah. And that is on May 26th, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's from 9 to 5, May 26th, is that you know what day of the week that is?
That's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday?
That's the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so 9 to 5 on Saturday before Memorial Day?
And you all are saying we know how to keep them safe.
Yeah, I think they need to definitely follow the city ordinance, or if it's an ordinance or not.
Like the guidelines?
We should
Yeah.
have city specific for that,
Okay,
rules and guidelines.
okay. We'll make sure to let them know that there are specific guidelines they need to adhere to, and we'll probably just ask them, would the fire or the police department be the best place for them to go to and talk to somebody about that,
Say the police department,
please?
I think they,
Steve's going.
I mean, we'll assist them in any way they need.
Yeah.
If they need vest or anything like that, we'll be more than glad to help that. So-
Okay, all right.
Or if they need assistance setting it up, we can tell them how we do it.
Because it says right here, they want to be like you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
With a boot and all.
That,
We'll bring the cone it, sign it.
Okay. All right, is there any questions from the board about this?
the public safety officers say they want to keep them safe, and it's supposedly been done before, then I do not have a problem.
Yeah. Is there any questions or comment from the public? All right. Do I have a motion to accept St. Vincent's request for setting up money collection at Miami and Maine.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, Sherry Briscoe? Yes? You have a request to close Canal Street from Miami to the Oilson Theater, May 12th, for a fundraiser for the Literary Aid. Yeah, 2 Literary Aid members on the board. We might have to...
I don't know, questionable whether this is gonna get
Yeah.
passed.
Would you guys like to talk to us about it? Just tell us what your plan is?
It's a benefit for Lola Richie Mercer, who has stage 4 lung cancer. It's an all-day benefit, so we're requesting closing the street from Miami to actually probably just before the depot. So that since the second Saturday, leaving the depot open for Ole Olson and leaving access to the bank, so we'd want to close it just at the edge of the bank parking lot. That way it still leaves access for other businesses. It's actually hosted by the crew, a local writing group, community-minded. And the aid has been gracious enough to let us use space there
Gotcha. And you said,
from like 9 a.m. until midnight.
and which group did you say? The crew? The crew.
Crew.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Is there any questions from the board? Have you guys reached out to the bank to let them know?
They're not gonna obstruct theirs at all.
No,
That way the
no.
ATM is still accessible.
Okay.
And they've talked to Vickery Tape
They don't have
and,
an issue with us using any of their space over there. And like I said, we'll leave Ole Olson open, so we're not taking any of their space.
Gotcha.
so it would just be west of Ole's parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just mention it to the neighbors, even if it's not gonna affect them, just give them a heads up.
I believe somebody from,
Yes, we do have one member that's associated with Ole Olson that should
Okay.
be our contact there to square.
just to let them know, I mean, we weren't gonna obstruct any of their parking or access, but
Okay. And, I'm sorry, just trying to make sure I recap for the people watching on TV. It's from 9 a.m. to midnight on May 12th. Is that a Saturday, you said?
Yes,
second Saturday.
Yeah, second Saturday.
Second Saturday.
Gotcha.
Gabe,
Yeah.
that's also the same day as the World War I program down on the courthouse lawn.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's the same day.
Yeah. I think there's a number of events going on that day, isn't there? The World War I event, second Saturday, there was something else too. Okay. Lots of things going on. Is there anything from our public safety or traffic?
And Todd, after the event, we'll just stick all the barricades when we're done. If it ends prior to that, we'll just pull the barricades off and set them somewhere.
I always mention the 12-foot emergency lane
Yes.
for the fire.
Right.
I guess, is there any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public and concerns? All right. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the street closure request for a fundraiser?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we have Cassie with True Second Saturdays with a road closure request on 5th Street by the museum, May 12th, 2018. I think we close 5th Street most nice days.
It'll start from this Saturday, the 1st of May, and then on until at least up to October.
Yeah, so then the good weather, second Saturdays we typically close 5th Street. And this is just to Court Street, or is this the whole block, do you know?
We go ahead and go to the whole block, because we've still been blocking off Court Street just in case we need it. We can get, the only ones we have to worry about at that point is the dispatch, they get in and out, but they've been pretty good about moving their vehicles.
Yeah. And this is for the Kids Corner?
Yes.
Do we know what the Kids Corner event's gonna be for this?
Pony rides in a petting zoo.
Oh, pony rides in a petting zoo.
Almost
Nice.
like it's on that paper.
Awesome.
And then we have the carpenters union building wood projects with the kids, and then I
Gotcha.
don't even know what else. There's a lot of stuff.
Awesome. Well, that would be
There's
exciting.
free muffins.
Yeah, free muffins was
Free
another one,
muffins.
correct?
And an Elsa and Spider-Man impersonator, and I just want to know if that's the same person at the same time, or...
That was real Spider-Man.
Right. They're not
Have you
impersonators.
seen
It's
Infinity
Elsa.
War yet? Maybe it's
But it's
not.
the real Spider-Man.
Okay.
All right. It's pretty typical. We do this most summer months. So I don't know if there's any questions from the board. Is there
I've seen the
any-
process.
Yeah. I assume that our public safety officers don't have issues.
So this is going to be
traffic?
okay with, like, at least 3 that we know of patches right in the downtown area that are going to be...
I don't know if I
Blocked
have an
off.
agenda, but I think that, because the guy running the World War I thing called me.
Mhm.
He wants to go ahead and shut off at 8 a.m. Fifth Street Museum does. So.
Because
Just leave
of
it
that.
shut off for the rest of the day then?
I'll just come down, I'll come in town that one, we can do it about 6:30 or 7, and that would kill, there won't be any funny noise.
Good. It makes it easy so we don't have to go track everybody down every time and move their vehicles.
Yeah, Fifth Street being closed the majority of the day, I don't think will be an issue. We can double check with the courthouse and make sure we're not gonna,
On a Saturday, yeah, I don't.
yeah, I can't imagine it's gonna interfere with their stuff, but we might just let them know that it's gonna be an all day. That on Main Street, 2 different times during the day, we'll actually,
Is that the partial lane closure for the thing on
yeah,
the
you
corner?
want a partial lane closure.
If they need it, though. And that, I gave Dave, I got the case number and all that, the state said fine, so.
Yeah. And with that too, I know Mr. Jenkins is anticipating a large turnout for that. I know the numbers that he was talking about turning out for that, we don't historically get numbers like that. So I don't know, depending on the size of the crowd that shows up, whether we'll need the lane closure for that or not. So I still think that it's a possibility we won't need to close that lane for that event. So, but we'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of events going on downtown, and Fifth Street, like I said, being closed all day, I don't think it'll be an issue.
No, museum is the only one that would be affected by it.
Right.
Okay.
And with Miami and Main Street, it's not road closure, but it'll just be something to drive around
Right.
and donate. And then just a partial lane closure again there by that courthouse too for probably less than an hour too. So I think even given with all the stuff that's going on, it shouldn't be too much of
Still
a.
doable. Seems doable
Traffic.
to you guys?
Is all that comfortable with you guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
Earning their paychecks.
Yep. All right. Is there any other questions about the Fifth Street road closure requests for second Saturdays?
No. Are we gonna just go ahead and have that a standing thing from here on out? Would that be just as easy?
Well, I
We
think.
did it last year.
Right. And I don't think it's an issue at all.
I
So,
mean, Todd's been
right.
better every time, so.
It's starting in May. When are we gonna,
October?
October? Okay. Unless we hear differently from the second Saturday board, we'll go ahead and extend this out to October if that's okay with the rest of the board.
Okay.
Is there any questions from the public? Any comments? All right. Do I have a motion to accept approved second Saturday's road closure request for Fifth Street?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the motion passes. And the last item, that was,
I don't know that any of us have it, but it was Mr. Working.
yes.
So we don't need to do World War I additional road closure?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't have
Oh, there's a World War I additional road closure. Is that the additional Fifth
That's
Street?
what Todd just talked about. so-
Okay, gotcha. We can go ahead and do a separate motion for that, but that's what we just discussed. So if it is Fifth Street, extending the timeline out for that, for this second Saturday coming up, for that event too.
Okay. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do I have a motion to accept the additional road closure on Fifth Street?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll move now to Gary Working. you have a road closure request, and you were talking about that.
Yes,
yeah.
I belong to the Apostolic Center, Pastor Chris Reed, Bill King, and we have actually a pretty lively church, and it continues to grow. Recently, they opened up a parsonage right across the street on Rampler Street with the children's church. Quite a few people in the children's church, and we're simply requesting white stripes painted across the street for a cross path and/or children's signs on both sides and everything for the crossing. Actually, like I said, we have a pretty lively church and quite a few kids in children's church just for the safety and protection of the children.
Gotcha. So you're asking for a crosswalk to be painted down,
Right.
and signs put up like "Watch for Children."
He had suggested possibly 2 white stripes crossing from you know where the Apostolic Center is at, right? Okay, and right across the street is the children's parsonage in a house that just opened up a few weeks back.
Okay.
And like I said, there is quite a few children that cross more than a couple of times on a day. We moved our services to Saturday, by the way, also too, but just for the safety and the protection of the children.
Todd?
I was thinking about this, Gary. Since that's basically 52 times a year instead of like the other crosswalks that are 365, could we, I have down there, I have these signs that they fold up, they look like that, they pop out, and you stand them up, they're about 4 feet tall, and I have signs that, they're advanced crosswalk signs that got the woman and the girl and the boy on it, you know, carrying a book, that are no longer usable at night because they're not reflective enough. But could I make, we could donate that, put 2 of those signs on each side of that pop out. And you said you guys were gonna have a crossing guard?
Yeah.
And just take that out in the street, set it for 10 minutes, and you'd see it in both directions, and you'd have a guy,
Yeah.
like a crossing guard. That way we wouldn't have to put down white stripes and kind of open ourselves up to, hey, there's a little crosswalk there, and people walking it, you know.
So is that a safety concern, putting up a crosswalk in the middle of the street like that?
Yeah,
Oh.
since it's not a,
Okay.
you know, you kind of get into those tourists like Gatlinburg where they got them everywhere. And they're easier, well, they're more visible when they're at a corner because there's a stop sign there.
So this is just in the middle of the road, not in an
Yeah,
intersection?
right.
That would be confusing.
Yeah. And if they're only going to be used on, you know, when they're having church, they could pop this sign out. If they've got a crossing guard there, when you're headed north or south on Wampler, you'd see this 4-foot sign right there in the road, right at the edge, and you know there's a crosswalk there.
That does bring up some interesting points and concerns. I'd almost want to look at what they do in other cities to figure out maybe what's the safest, because like you said, with it being in the middle of the block, most crosswalks being at a intersection where people are slowing down to begin with, I absolutely want to do something for you folks there to make it safe for the kids, but I want to make sure what we do is something uniform and something that's maybe tried and true.
And we have some, you know, down on Daniel by the junior high, they're not at corners, but
Gotcha. Yeah.
you're in a school zone there too.
Right.
Right, you're stepping off of a curb at this point. You don't have an actual walkway to the road, is there?
Right, it's a parking lot to a sidewalk, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Our parking lot actually butts up against the building.
Mhm.
And so when the kids come out, they walk through the parking lot, across the street, into the house.
I mean, do you think these signs that he's referring to would work for what, you know, for your needs, something you guys take in and out?
If there's one on both ends, I would think it would have to be.
We need to make the public aware that there could be kids in that area at any time, because this is something new.
I know, I would actually be more comfortable if there was actually signs put up, because I think people that drive on that road would get used to seeing that, and it would alert them, and I also am a little uncomfortable with donating signs to anybody, because then you get into that habit of, well, you did it for somebody else. And if we erect the signs, I'd almost be more comfortable with that and actually put them in.
And also, by the way, too, that McClure's is a very, very, very busy parking lot. Recently, there was an accident last year, on somebody on a motorcycle, somebody getting out of there, and especially in the motorcycle season and the car season, traffic is absolutely crazy, and we're just looking out for the protection of the children.
They fly down through there sometimes.
They really
It's crazy.
honestly do.
Right. Yeah, I would like to maybe take a look and investigate a little bit more. I don't know how
I
you-
mean,
how the
with
board
you doing
feels.
this stuff, what do you think that would be the most effective? I mean, that putting a permanent sign up?
But when you put they're those great big, they're the safety yellow greens, I mean, they're big signs.
Yeah.
If they're there, and I see your point, if they're there all the time,
And
There's something, we have approximately 50 little kids, that may be crossing here.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that, I think I can speak for the board too, that we definitely want to do something there to help protect the kids. Just want to make sure whatever we do, it's something that doesn't end up being a mistake later, I don't know if the public safety officers have any input on that.
I mean, I think the safest thing would be to have an adult out there helping them cross, but I know that may not always be.
Well, that's what I did this past Saturday. This past Saturday was the first service that we opened up on Saturday instead of Sunday. And so I did that, but like I said, yeah, it's, I don't have no problem with that at all, but it's just, there's traffic possibly coming in from both sides.
Right.
I think the signs would be more visible than painting on the street.
yeah, I don't know that the painting on the street's gonna slow anybody down or,
I think this sign would be great.
Yeah. I don't know, Dustin, if the city paints a crosswalk and an accident were to happen there and they said, well, this wasn't a safe crosswalk, is that going to be something?
I mean,
That's
you and I
kind of my
both- You and I
concern.
both know people sue for anything and everything.
Right.
If there's a possibility, they're gonna pursue it.
Right.
And especially if there's an accident, you go after anyone and everyone you can at
Right.
that point.
I'd be concerned about making sure that we do it to, I don't know if NDOT standards or some standard that we know it's safe and we're not giving kids a false sense of security that, hey, I can run out in the street here, this is a crosswalk, or adults thinking, giving a false sense of security there, I don't know. How does the board feel on that?
I think it's worth looking into a little bit before we decide exactly what we're gonna do. So we wanna do something, let's just figure out exactly what it is that's gonna be the best. Does that sound okay for now?
Yeah, I know I'd be comfortable with actually maybe putting it on a listserv and asking other towns with how they've handled similar situations.
Do some of the other areas in school, in town like Elwood, and places where they have schools, have children crossing signs?
I believe so.
yeah, those are those advanced crosswalks.
Yeah.
That's basically what that is. It's a symbolic
Right.
boy and a girl, and you can see a book, they're carrying books.
And do we have crossing guards at each one of those?
They have them down at, they have them in Wayne, don't they?
Crossing guard at the schools.
Yeah, Wayne, Wayne and Washington for the Elmwood, yeah.
Yeah,
And across 19, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that where we have the signs, we also have crossing guards during, when kids are walking there too, so, like I said, I'd be, more of the mind of look into it and really try to figure out, something, it's at least something that is being done in other towns too, that we know has a tried and true,
Well, this being a small town and quite a lot of traffic, and you noticed obviously, especially in the spring and summer months, more motorcycle and car traffic also too. And a lot of the streets, which I won't even go into as far as what's going on in West Main for the traffic congestion, just about impossible. And it's getting to be actually a very dangerous situation in a lot of areas of town, especially on West Main.
All right, so, do I have a motion to table the request from, Mr. Working and the Apostle Church, or, sorry,
Apostolic.
Apostolic, thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And bear with those folks, we'll want to make sure we do the right thing there, so we'll make sure to do something. All right, is there anything else for the regular scheduled?
Yeah, we got the,
Oh,
here you go. This is yours.
right. So we have a retirement, is that correct? Chief Hawk, would you like to talk to us?
John just wrote a nice letter there, thanking the city, the Board of Works for his appointment, I believe for 32 years. It'll be May the 3rd is his last day.
Yep, very nice letter.
Was that one of the expected retirements?
Yes, yes.
Is there any questions from the board?
Nope.
Any question or comment from the public? I guess I would
Thank you
just
for all the
say
service.
thank you to
Yeah.
John McMillan. He's been a bit of an institution around and on the fire department, and we wish him the best. Do I have a motion to accept John McMillan's request for retirement?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Please send John our congratulations and gratitude. All right. Now, is there anything else on the agenda? Are you sure? Because I'm going to start it and somebody's going to stop me. All right. All right. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second for adjournment?
Oh, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, folks.
Those